everyone, thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. If you are new here, my name is Sandy, and on this channel we talk about pursuing a career in interior design, and I give you home decor tips. Today's video is on the career side because it's another interview. You guys tell me you like these, so I'm really happy to just continuously bring on different people who are working in the field so that you have a better understanding of what you could be doing. Today's video is with Tracy Moore. Hi, Tracy. We actually went to school together. That's how I know her. So, Tracy, would you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Of course. Hi, and Sandy, thank you so much for inviting me and having me today. I really do appreciate it. It's super exciting. My name is Tracy Moore, and I'm a junior designer for Susan Beer Interiors. This is my second year with Susan, and I've enjoyed it so much, and I can't wait to see what's to come. So yeah.
Oh, that is exciting. Okay, well, let's dive right into the questions. I know everybody wants to know all about what's in your brain. So let's start first with, did you go to school for interior design? And if so, where did you go?
I did go to school for interior design. I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta, which is where I met you.
That's where we know each other, yeah. And you, did you get a bachelor's or associates, or which degree did you get?
Yes, I got a bachelor's. I started in 2014 and graduated in 2018. So bachelor's of art.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And when you were applying to go to school, did you apply with a portfolio or no?
I did not apply with a portfolio. I pretty much, I went into school straight out of high school, and pretty much in school, I built my portfolio while I was in school.
And what a fantastic portfolio it is, you guys. She's so good, so good. Her stuff hangs up in the hallways. I think it's still there. If you go to school, it's still there. All her drawings are immaculate. Tracy's very talented.
Thank you, Sandy.
As someone with a degree, do you feel that it's important to have a degree to become a successful interior designer, or does it just not matter?
I feel like it is important to have a degree because anyone can furnish a home, and a lot of people have great style. But to know the technical side of things and just the logistics of things and how things really work, I think is really important to go to school.
When you say like technical side and logistics, can you give us like some examples of what you mean?
So some examples could be your AutoCAD, like your AutoCAD, Revit, 3D modeling, and also just also like your floor plans, knowing how to read a floor plan, knowing the proportions and how to even draw furniture. It's like there's so much to it in designing a home. For furniture, you have to you can buy a chair, a sofa, desk, but you have to make sure those things they coordinate with each other and in their size and proportion. And working at Susan, she really gets into like the details of things. And I think if you're in school and you learn about those things and like how everything works, I think that could lead you just to being into a better designer. And also just the more education you have, that makes you better in whatever you're doing. So
that's what Kleeman said. He was like, more education is never a bad thing.
Right, exactly.
What I always say to people is, I do think that education is super important, but for anyone who maybe it may not be in the position to like go back to school or get the degree, or financially it is an expensive degree, depending on where you go to school, I think you can get your feet wet without necessarily knowing all this stuff yet and still learn kind of on the spot.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I agree. I just think at the end of the day, school is really important and education is really important. So just to even have like the fact that you have a degree in whatever you're pursuing, that's like that looks great to anyone. And I just think it's really important.
Do you work with anybody who doesn't have a degree? Does everybody have a degree where you work?
So everyone has a degree where I work. Everyone has a degree where I work. We have a really small office, so there's like 3 designers, and we have like our accountant and of course like an office manager. The office manager, of course, she doesn't have like a degree in interior design, but she did go to school for something else, which led her to with us. So yeah.
No, I fully understand the importance of like the achieving more information, because when you talk, even when you just have a conversation with somebody about design versus somebody who like has a degree versus somebody who just like has good style, the terms are different. Their understanding of it is different. So for example, I feel like this is like no shade to RH or to like West Elm or all the other ones. They're wonderful, wonderful. But for people who only know what they see like on HGTV or what they see, on these shows or the makeovers they see on YouTube, for a lot of people, that's high end, right? Like RH is high end and West Elm is high end, and they've never heard of like a Minotti or a Roche-Bobois or a Four Hands, or like they've never heard of any of these places. And I'm like, I think sometimes the industry balances like being bougie and like being accessible. And occasionally there is like a little bit of snobbiness associated with like, I'm a designer. And it's important. Interior design itself is important. That's why I do like these interviews, because we're integral people to the spaces that people live, work, play, everything that you do, everything that you're touching, the chair you're sitting in, the countertops, the light you turn on when you go into like a freaking bathroom stall, whatever. Someone thought about that. Someone picked that out and considered your experience as a human. And that is like the difference between somebody who just like has good style and like is a designer.
Totally agree with you. You could not have said it better, honestly.
All right, moving on to our next question. Is it important to join organizations while you're in school?
Yes, it is very important. When I was in school, my teacher was like, you need to join some type of organization, and I decided to join ASID. From there, I became a student member and I volunteered for every event or any event that I could, and networked with people and met people in the design community. So I do think it's really important, because joining an organization will basically get you out there to meeting different people and making those connections that you need to make in order to be successful after school. So yeah.
It was such a perfect like resume answer. Like, damn.
Well, thank
you. For people who are maybe a little bit shy and are concerned about like going to networking events and putting themselves out there, do you have any recommendations?
So I can relate to those people, because I was very shy and quiet in school. But at the end of the day, you want to be successful in your career. So even if you have to go to these events, bring a friend. Like, I would literally bring my friends that had nothing to do with interior design just because they make me feel more comfortable and they're someone that I could relate to more. So yeah, if you feel shy or uncomfortable, just bring someone that you know. It could be anyone to the event, or just take a chance and just think about your future. Honestly, think about your future.
That is a really good tip. I never thought about bringing somebody who like isn't even a student or isn't even a design person. But yeah, that'll be like a nice little clutch, your little safety person that you hold on to. Do you keep up with these organizations after school? And if so, how have you done that?
Yes, I have. And I'm a part of ASID. I'm actually a part of the ASID Georgia chapter board for the 2021 2020-21 year. I'm the student advisory, and basically it has helped me a lot because I volunteered when I was in school and I stayed involved. After I graduated, I was asked to join the board. And that just shows, if you just continue to be involved, people are going to notice you. They may not know your name or where you come from, but they're going to notice your face. So that's basically how I joined the board. And this is my second year now. And I actually really do enjoy it. And I've met so many people, and I encourage the students to get involved and join if you can as well.
Yes, such a good answer. They're so important. I was telling on my last interview, I was saying, oh, I think it was Ashley. We were saying that one of the problems with design school is that kids don't get their head out of their book, and and people just feel like if I'm just really good in school, if I just get A's on all my projects, then I will get a job. And it's like, well, no one knows you, hun. No one knows who you are. You haven't talked to anybody. You don't got an email. You have a phone number, nothing. You have no one.
Right. Like you could have the best projects in school, but if you're not networking and meeting people, how do you expect to get that internship, or how do you expect to work for that designer that you want to work for? You just have to push yourself and actually get out there. So
yeah, you sure do. You mentioned a key word there, internships. Did you have any internships when you were in school?
I did have internships while I was in school. I actually had 3. My first internship was with a designer by the name of June Chamberlain, and it was just her and I, and it was a great experience because I got that one-on-one time with a designer, and she's the person who introduced me to ADAC and how to request for samples, and the net price and all the things that you need to know whenever you're like shopping and things. My second internship was with Minotti at which is a showroom at ADAC. And that was really cool because it's like high-end furniture, and I learned a lot about their furniture and different clients, and it kind of gave me a different view at the interior design world. Instead of being the designer, I was like in the shoes of someone who was selling to the designer.
Yes.
It was cool. And my last internship was Pineapple House Interior Design, and it was a really great experience there. I learned a lot. It was cool because I was with a team, and it was kind of like a family. I learned a lot from the designers and just everyone. It was really, really great experience there, which led me to my first job out of school. I was their design assistant, so it was cool.
Oh, that's cool. What how did you get those internships? Like, how did you put yourself out there to apply for them?
So whenever I went to events, I remember going to an ASID student day. I came in contact with Cynthia Pereiro, who's like the office manager for Pineapple House. And I was like, I know she's at Pineapple House, so I'm going to go say something to her. So basically just putting myself out there, like walking up to people, introducing myself. And she remembered me she remembered who I was when she like reviewed my resume and portfolio. So yeah, and with June, she was actually a judge for one of my residential classes. She came in to like judge our projects, and I guess she really loved my project, and she asked if I wanted to intern with her. So it was, it's just connecting with people and talking.
I love those stories so much because they show intention and purpose. It didn't just kind of like happen by chance. You put your project into a competition on purpose, and someone was going to see that, and then you didn't even necessarily have to go talk to that person. You just submitted your work, and then for the second one, you went, you said hi to somebody. You weren't necessarily besties. You just like you just was polite, I'm sure. And then she remembered you when you did apply. So it's just like these really small touches of contact that you can have with people that help bring your resume to the top of the stack when they're looking for people to hire.
Right. And also for Minotti, I literally just decided to go to ADAC one day. I was like, I'm just going to go to ADAC one day and pass out my resume and show everyone my portfolio, just go to different showrooms. And that was one showroom they were looking for someone, and I was there. So it happened. So again, just putting yourself out there, going and networking with people, even if you just take out it one day out of the week and just go meet people. You could do it.
Oh my gosh, I have the exact same story about ADAC. That is so funny. So I used to work at a showroom at ADAC called Peacock Alley. And I wanted to work specifically at ADAC because I wanted to understand that side of the business. I just wanted to work at a showroom in general. So I got like cute one day and I looked at the places that were hiring online, but I actually didn't see Peacock Alley. It wasn't listed on the website because ADAC has like a careers section on the website that'll tell you who's hiring. And I knew that I wanted to be there. So I got all cute. I printed out multiple copies of my resume. I went to all the showrooms that I knew were hiring. And then I went up to Janet at the desk and was like, hey, do you know anybody who's hiring? And I just like went around and said hi to people. I didn't know anybody. And then I handed them my resume to the manager there, and they were looking for somebody. And then they almost hired me on the spot. I had like my second interview over the phone the very next day. And then I had my paperwork within a week.
That's awesome.
And that's awesome. And although I've moved on from there, I learned so much from that side, from the vendor side of the business. There is so much to be learned. Well, I was always shocked about the margins. I'd be like, this costs how much? Y'all film it for how much? Damn. Like, oh my God.
I do that to this day, so don't worry.
But yeah, it's so funny that we both have those same stories. You got to put yourself out there, folks. All right, you just got to get out of your comfort zone, print out your resume, and head out there. And my resume at the time had nothing about showrooms. My sales experience had been like, I used to work at Victoria's Secret when I was like 18 years old. I worked at a couple restaurants. You did too. Are we the same person?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just that retail experience that I'd had, worked at different stores, and I had a PR degree at the time. I wasn't touting like a interior design degree because I'd left school early, so I was like really scared that I wouldn't get it, and then I did, and it was a wonderful experience. So put yourself out there again.
Right.
So you are now a junior designer, 3 internships later, and you were assistant first, now on being a junior designer with Susan Ferrier. How did you get the job with Susan? How did you apply? What were the requirements?
So the requirements were you had to have, I believe, like at least a year to 2 years of experience in design. I was just a junior designer, but I did have experience with Pineapple House basically prepared me for this position. Mm-hmm. Being a design assistant, I was under the junior designers, so I just studied what they did and how they did it. Also, the designers, like I tried to help as much as I could, and it basically just prepared me for this position. I think this position required like 1 to 2 years of experience. And of course, like you had to know how to communicate with clients and mm-hmm. how to place orders, make orders, go to ADAC, everything, about managing a project. And the first time, when I applied for Susan Ferrier, I did not get the job. But about 2 or 3 weeks later, I received a call and they asked if I could come in, and I interviewed like 2 different people, and I finally got the call that I received the job. So yeah, that's pretty much how it happened. I feel like Pineapple House really prepared me for this position by being a design assistant.
Being a design assistant is a great way to get your foot in the door, and Pineapple House, of course, is a great. Being a junior designer, of course, is the next step, because that's what everyone looks to when you're in school. There's you get to learn about different design firms. Sometimes they come to the school, sometimes they put up flyers letting you know that they're looking for interns. So the school environment is such a great pool for like-minded areas where all the information is kind of ready there for you. You don't always have to venture out too far. You do need to put some initiative, but there's usually at least some kind of information in your face there. So I think that the ladder that everyone follows when they're going after school is okay, I'm going to either be an assistant or I'll be a junior designer, and then I'll become a senior designer or so-and-so or whatever. And then you just kind of follow the ladder that way. And I say that because a lot of people think that interior design is you have to start your own business and you have to get your own clients. And they're trying to be Joanna Gaines, who is amazing, but they think that interior design is like starving artist kind of career. and I'm like, no, it's not. You can apply. You can work a 9 to 5. You can apply at a place just like everybody else.
Right.
You don't have to do that. And that misconception, I love when people come and talk about their more formal experience, because it lets people know that there's a bit more job security than they think there is.
Mm-mm.
So you mentioned needing 2 years of experience for your junior designer position. What else were qualifications? Like, what specific things did you need to know? Did you need to know like CAD or SketchUp or what other things like that?
Yeah, so you need to know how to work a floor plan, you need to know how to hand draw. So I would think about that. A lot of people are, on doing AutoCAD and Revit now, but still keep hand drawing on your resume, or you never know how different people work.
What kinds of things do you hand draw?
So we do the floor plans.
Oh, she drafts her floor plans by hand?
Yes. Yeah.
I thought everybody had moved on to SketchUp and CAD for all that.
Yeah, so we're still drafting, but honestly, I enjoy it a lot because it's different from what other people are doing. Mm-hmm. I know that AutoCAD can be quicker and faster, but it's still nice to have that personal touch by hand drafting. Sorry, but yeah. Okay. So you just, with any job, you just need to be prepared for the method that designer does. You may have a designer that uses Revit. Another company may just use AutoCAD, and you may have a company that hand drafts. So you have to think about that.
Do they use do you hand draw any kind of renderings either, or just the floor plans?
No, not well, since I've been there, I've no renderings. Mainly just the floor plans, any elevations.
Okay, all that kind of stuff. Because you're excellent at rendering. Her work, again, guys, super lovely. But for people who are nervous when they hear that they're like, oh my God, I can't draw, I can't be a designer. What do you have any advice for them, or anything you'd like to say about that?
I think anyone can draw, and honestly, you don't have to know how to draw to be a designer. I didn't know how to draw. I had Mr. Wong who helped me.
Yeah.
If I didn't have him, I wouldn't know. But honestly, you don't have to know you don't have to be like the perfect drawer. There's a lot of people who like rendering. Like, I have a designer who like literally texted me yesterday, like, Tracy, can you 3D render? And I'm like, I haven't did that in a long time, but I do know someone who can. So I mean, just you don't have to know how to hand draw. Just keep that in the back of your mind, or when you're interviewing or applying for different jobs, that you've learned it in school. You don't have to be the best person at it, as long as you know how to do it. Yes.
Gotcha. All right. So everyone who is super, super nervous, you can relax. You don't have to be an amazing drawer.
Yeah, you don't have to be perfect.
For your resume and your portfolio, what kinds of things did you put in your portfolio or on your resume?
So in my portfolio, I put my like top 5, or maybe 3, I think 5, like my top 5 projects. You want to put in your best work. You don't want to put in everything that you did in school. You just have to think. There's like a saying that less is more, or there's a saying like you don't have to put everything you worked on. Just put on like your favorite projects and dress them up, make them really nice. Try to put in a variety of different projects. So I had like at least one residential. I did like a hospitality project and a commercial. So you want to give a variety of different things. Show your different talents. If you do like DIY projects, or if you design your apartment or a family member's home, show that'll be awesome. Also, like, if you can draw, or if you have like any other talents that are dealing with the arts, I would also include that, because people like to see your other creativity and your other creative side. So resume, I would definitely include like your past experience. You don't have to include like everyone that you work for. It's just like your top, places you work for and good references that people can contact and call. And I would also include like your top skills. One thing that I would recommend is, how now people are like rating their skills. Like if I'm really good at AutoCAD, I'll give myself like a dot or
Oh yeah, the ratings. Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, I would recommend not doing that
Me
because in a
too.
way, yeah, you're kind of like you're putting yourself down. So I would recommend not rating yourself, just put your skills and what you're good at. So yeah.
That was very thorough. I would never even think about putting things that aren't necessarily design related, like if you paint or something, or if you like other things, things that serve you in design and are adjacent to design that show that you have like kind of an eye without exactly being design work are great ways to, to kind of put yourself out there and get in and show that you have some kind of experience. So if you guys have any questions about anything she just said, please put it down in the comments. I do have some of the DMs that you guys have asked. I'm going to ask those later in the interview. But you are just firing off such concise answers. I like it.
Oh, try.
I feel like I already know what your answer is going to be, but people ask me this all the time, so I'm going to ask anyway. Do you think it's hard to get a job in interior design?
I don't think it's hard to get a job in interior design. I don't. Going back to the conversation we had earlier, network, go to ADAC. Literally, if you network, meet people, go to ADAC, you're going to get a job. Or you're going to meet someone that's going to connect you. Like, I don't think it's hard at all. You just have to put yourself out there. Literally. I can't stress it enough. Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, can you explain what ADAC is, what that acronym stands for?
Yeah, so ADAC is the Atlanta Design Center.
Atlanta
Decorative Design Center.
Decorative Arts Center. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. And basically it is the design, it's like our design resource. You go there and you get your fabrics, you can spec furniture, finishes, anything you need, ADAC has it. There's also America's Mart. You could go there as well. But ADAC is like the go-to for all designers.
It sure is, because America's Mart, that parking is atrocious.
Yeah, downtown.
For you being a junior designer, and this is your first junior designer position, what are your responsibilities? Like, what do you do on the day-to-day? I know you mentioned you draw floor plans.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some other things you work on?
So my responsibilities day to day would basically include just managing the projects, and that includes making or helping with client presentations, proposing items to the clients, and creating orders for the clients for whatever was approved, following up with those orders, making sure everything is gonna make it for the install date. Requesting pricing, asking for fabric samples, pulling samples, it's pretty much like your job as a design assistant 2.0. Like you're doing or an intern, you're doing so much more. You're more involved with the process.
For anyone who is wondering, how much of the actual design work do you get to do, in the sense of like putting together a concept and saying, hey, that we should do this paint color, or hey, we should do this custom cabinet, or we should do this countertop, or do you get to do any of that, or do you kind of just support whatever Susan's decisions are?
So at Susan's, we work as a team. If we have like a huge project, Susan usually comes up with the concept and everything, and we basically not help create it, but we help bring it to life. And again, we work as a team. So if there's furniture, we'll all go on a website or go on different websites and look up furniture that we think might be best for the client. And then we'll all go through it together and basically just pick out the ones that we're like, nope. And that's one of the processes that I really do enjoy. If there's like a color palette for a room, I'll go out to ADAC and pick those colors or things that I think Susan might like. And then again, we come together, we look at everything and pick out the ones that we think are best for the client. So it's honestly a team effort. And that's what I really like about Susan. And I like that she actually gives me a chance to go out and she gives me a chance to go out and look for different things and express my creativity without just making she makes the decisions, of course, but she gives us a chance to be a part of that decision making. So yeah.
That is lovely. That's one of the best things about working at a smaller firm like that, because you guys are under 10 people, where it's like everybody gets to wear all the hats kind of. Whereas if you're at like a bigger place, I would imagine, I do not know, but I think if you're like an HOK or like a Perkins and Will or something like that, then the roles are more segmented and it might be more of a conveyor belt where, like, you know how, like, for example, at like McDonald's, there's like one person who does the fries and there's one person who flips the patties. And then there's like, I think at bigger firms or bigger organizations, you get pigeonholed into like a thing. Whereas at smaller places, you get your hands dirty in like everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's what
I like that. I enjoy it.
So for anyone who hasn't noticed, I'm Black, she's Black. We're interior designers. And I've had some comments on my channel where people telling me, oh, I'm the first like Black girl they've seen talking about this on YouTube, or the first Black designer they came across. And I was like, whoa, wait, me? Like, like, that's crazy. Like, are you serious? And there's organizations like the Black Interior Designers Network where that was actually one of my first events that I went to, where we volunteered. It was like me, you, Ashley, some other girls, and we were just helping them with the 3-day event. And I met, there were so many people, and that was like my first official experience there. I didn't know how grateful I needed to be for that, because some people don't have that experience. So I would say for you, have you noticed any lack of representation for Black designers?
There is a lack of representation for Black designers. However, I do feel like that is beginning to change, because now everywhere I look on social media or in magazines, there's always a Black designer having the spotlight or their story being told, and I appreciate that. My only concern is that this is not just a trend or something just for now. I hope that this is something that's going to continue, and like they're just going to continue to represent and show off Black designers. I hope that this isn't just because of, the things that happened last year. I hope it continues, basically. But I have noticed a lack, and I do see a change.
Same. I definitely agree with your statement. I do share like a concern that that it's like trendy, that we're like, the paint color of the year, and then next year there'll be like a new paint color. If people are just like, oh, I posted my Black square on Tuesday, I'm here for it. and it's like, well, there are other, how do I explain this? Sometimes something that is a little, that doesn't like sit well with me is Black designers being showcased as Black designers and not just as a designer.
As a designer, right.
And it's just like, that's one of the reasons that people don't even know that we as a community exist, that there's like thousands of Black interior designers. There's so many of us, and it's because the people who showcase designers are most likely probably showcasing people that they know. I don't think that it happens on purpose. I do not think there's like someone who's like, I'm not going to showcase any Black designers in this magazine, or I'm not talking about Black designers in my blog. I don't think anyone's like doing that in their brain, but because it's happening unconsciously, you have to consciously make it not happen. And you have to seek out designers who are of color, who are Latina descent or Asian descent or African American descent or anything like that. You have to think about it and put them in positions to be seen and to be heard, and for their voices and for their talent, but not necessarily as a Black designer. Like last year, there was a magazine that did for Black History Month. They showcased like I think it was like 28 Black designers. And and the first thing I thought when I saw that was like, okay, super cool. What about every other month of like,
like exactly,
we out here?
Exactly.
Like, what do you mean? So that can, for people who are new designers or not new designers, people who are new to interior design, the industry, and want to get into it, who look like you and I, it can be discouraging when you don't see representation. I can't say that I saw Black interior designers when I decided I wanted to go to school. I never thought I couldn't do it because of my skin color. I never thought anything like that. I was just like, I want to do this. So I'm going to go to school and I'm just going to stick at school. I'm going to do the work and I'm going to do it.
Right.
And then when I met the Black Interior Designers Network, I was like, oh, okay, fantastic. Nice to know we're all here and doing it and thriving and doing the damn thing. But I never felt like I couldn't do it. I think that is not common though. I think most people feel like if they don't see someone doing it, then they don't know it's possible in their brain.
Right.
And that is very, very important. You know, I feel like Black people aren't always associated with luxury or with like really nice things unless you're like, I don't know, like a rapper or a ball player or whatever, or a singer. And that it's important to showcase us in other spaces than what people are used to seeing us in, because we're not monolithic and we can be in all spaces and do all things.
Right. I totally agree. All of that. I agree 100%.
100%.
I feel like it starts like when you're younger. If the younger kids could see that, okay, not all, like a Black person can be an architect or a designer, not just a football player or a basketball player in order to be successful. It starts with the younger kids, and it starts like even in high schoolers. When I was in high school, I knew that I wanted to do something creative. Like I knew I wanted to be in arts because I love doing everything creative and artistic. I didn't know what, honestly, I was a 12th grader, didn't know what interior design was until I started like actually trying to figure out what do I want to be. And I knew that I liked designing my room. I knew I liked designing like doll houses and things like that, but I didn't know that this could actually be a profession until I started looking up schools and different jobs. And I'm like, interior design, a 12th grader. So if it starts with the kids, and it starts with educating the kids and showing them that you can be anything. Just because you see this certain face covering this certain profession, you can do that as well. That's how I feel.
100%. I support it all. As someone with formal design education, what do you recommend to design students?
Network, meet people, communicate with people in the community, network, get yourself out there. That's like the biggest advice I can give you. Because as you mentioned earlier, you can have the best projects in school, but if you're not networking and meeting different people, it's not going to help. Well, it'll help. I'm sorry, it'll help, but you could get so much farther if you just network and meet different people. So yeah.
That is the one piece of advice everyone has given. In every interview that I've done, everyone, Clemen said the same thing, Ashley said the same thing, Leah said something, not that word specifically, but she said something like similar to that. It's just so true. And it's true of every industry. If you're going to be an engineer, or if you're going to be an astronaut, if you're going to be a photographer, whatever you're going to be, network, please. You gotta know somebody who knows somebody. Just say something, say hi, you know, send an email, go to an event, just something, you guys.
Yes.
What is a design book that you would recommend? Doesn't necessarily have to be a book. It could be a magazine. It could be a resource that you would recommend to anyone who's interested in getting involved in design, not necessarily someone who's in school.
Okay. So I don't have a book, but I do have like a documentary I would recommend about, she's Iris Apfel, I believe I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but she's a 99-year-old businesswoman, interior designer and fashion icon, and her documentary is available on Amazon Prime and YouTube, I believe. It's only like an hour and 30 minutes, but I would recommend everyone watching it because she basically, she's the founder of Old World Weavers, which was like a fabric company. And I love her because she's not afraid to stand out and to do what she feels, even though it may be a bold decision, whether it's in her outfit that she has on one day or in her design. And I think everyone should be more like that. Don't worry about what people say or other people's opinion. Do what you feel is best, or do what you want to do. And I just, if even if you just look her up, she just has the biggest personality. She's super positive, and the fact that I feel like fashion and interior design go hand in hand. You should just check her out because she's amazing. She's so cute. But she's really inspiring when it comes to design. She's really inspiring, and she's like my inspiration to do what I want to do, basically.
Oh, that's beautiful. I haven't had anyone recommend a documentary. I like that. And also it's a lot less effort. People are probably watching. I mean, you're watching this right after this. Just click down below and go watch that documentary.
Right.
For everyone who's still with us, please stick around because we are about to get into all your DMs that you had. You had questions. She has answers. The first question we have for you is, what are some ways to put yourselves out there to get an internship or a job? You actually answered that earlier in the interview. You know, she was like, go to events, you know, apply to competitions or anything that you need to do, stuff like that. So you already answered that one. But next one. What has been your favorite project you've worked on so far?
That's a good question. My favorite project was actually my very first project I did with the company I'm with now. It was super cool, super different, and basically it showed me it showed me a different side of design. Like, it's super luxury. And the install took like 3 weeks. I was out of town for 3 weeks, including my birthday.
Oh, where was it?
It was in Naples, Florida. Okay. And it was a really nice house, like really nice, and I love to be a part of it. Everything was details, like all the details mattered. So yeah, that was probably one of my favorite projects.
The next question we have is, oh, you already answered this one. It was, what are the main requirements to get your position as a junior designer? And you said you needed to be able to draw specifically for you because you draw floor plans. You needed 2 years of design experience, which you had as an assistant. I'm sure you had to have a positive attitude and be a hard worker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so since that one's already answered, oh, someone else asked, do you get asked to make coffee runs? Is the position super low on the totem pole that you get asked to make coffee runs? Or does it not matter?
Now.
Not now.
No, I not as a junior designer. I will say, as a design assistant, I was in charge of getting lunch during installs, making sure the refrigerator and the coffee was filled every morning. So yeah, you have to start from the bottom.
Absolutely. Start from the bottom. Now we here.
Yeah, like, I can't complain. I'm very thankful for having the opportunity to do all of that.
No, absolutely. I think that any small tasks, because I don't want people to like write off roles like that. Any small role that I've had where I had to like get coffee or make copies or whatever, the fact that you're in the environment of the thing you want to do is a great way to learn. I just like to learn through osmosis, just like being there and steeping yourself in this language and these visuals and all this jargon that you're learning. Even if you work at just like the sample room at like, I don't know, Fabric-Hut or something. Yeah. You now are familiar with these fabrics that you didn't know, or you're now familiar with, you know, these designers who come in and buy this that you didn't know, or a new application for this fabric that you weren't aware of. So every single position is important. I've you know, done the grunt work too, and it's all important. And I think it's kind of like a rite of passage.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that actually concludes our interview today. Thank you so much for having me. Agnes, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you all learned so much from that interview. Tracy's really sweet, and I'm so happy that I was able to have her on. If you guys have any questions, please comment them down below. You can also check out my Instagram and DM me on Insta. That's how I get these questions to ask for you guys. Are they able to contact you as well via DM if they have any questions?
yeah, if you have any questions at all, you can reach me on my Instagram. It's Tracie, TraciM Moore. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay, that's it. I'll put it on the screen so that they know.
Give my email address.
Oh no, don't give your email.
I was like, Yahoo.
People will probably email up a storm. Yeah. But that's all. I think that's it for today. Thank you so much again, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye.